Creation of die. My dear learners, I welcome you once again. This is science lesson 2 under the chapter of classification of plants. Then our subtopic is flowering plants. So before I go any further, those who have just joined us, please just ask for the links for the previous videos such that you catch up well with us. Then again, I urge you to have your book on a table, your ruler, a pencil and a pen. Please, you have to write neatly and you have to design your work as we are taught from a school. Always, as we before we start, we have to first have what we call spelling game. So here we have our word bank. So I'm going to read through all the words, then I give simple explanation and meanings of some of the words we do have here. So our word number 1, this is germination. This one's read as epigeel. Here is dicot, cotyledon. We have hypogeel, axillary, shoot, and monocotyledonous. Monocotyledonous, shoot, axillary, hypogeel, germination, epigeel, dicot, cotyledon. So whereby this word germination means a seed developing into a seedling. So germination simply means a seed developing into a seedling. Then epigeel, it is a type of germination where the cotyledon remains under the ground or remains in the soil. Then dicot, it is an abbreviation of dicotyledonous seeds or dicotyledonous plants. So plants whose seeds have 2 cotyledons. Then cotyledon, another name for the cotyledon, means a seedy leaf where dicotyledonous plants store their food. And then hypogeel is also a type of germination. In this type of germination, the cotyledon comes out of the cotyledon remains inside the soil. I'm begging my pardon here. Under epigeel, the cotyledon comes out of the soil. Here it comes out of the soil. Here it remains inside the soil. Axillary, it is also known as the lateral bud, and lateral in science means the side. So the bud are a side, and the bud means the eye. So with the plants, they have what we call the axillary bud that develops into flowers, branches, and new leaves. Then shoot, it is a system of a flowering plant, the shoot system. Then monocotyledonous means seeds with only 1 cotyledon, because mono means 1 and cotyledonous comes from the word cotyledon. So these are the plants whose seeds have only 1 cotyledon. One more time: monocotyledonous, shoot, axillary, hypogeel, germination, epigeel, dicot, cotyledon. So I hope you've written these words down in your book with a neat handwriting and organization. So welcome back from that word game. So let us move on. We are looking at flowering plants. Previously we looked at plants, we classified them, and we said that these plants are classified into two big groups, as in the non-flowering and the flowering. Non-flowering and the flowering class. So previously we discussed the non-flowering plants, and we said for them, they don't bear flowers, they don't put on flowers, and they are classified into 2, as 1, the spore producing and the coniferous plants, and we gave some examples. Then in this video we are now going to look at the flowering plants. So what is a flowering plant? So a flowering plant is a plant that bears flowers. So a flowering plant is a plant that can bear flowers. So to bear, it's to produce or to put on flowers, meaning that these flowering plants are reproduced by means of seeds. So they reproduce by means of seeds, of which these seeds come from the flowers they put on. So these flowering plants, if you we revisit what we studied the other time in the previous lesson, we say that these flowering plants are classified into two big groups. One, the class or the group of dicotyledonous plants, dicotyledonous plants, and also the class of monocotyledonous plants. Then here we are going to start with the class of dicotyledonous plants. So what are they? So we have two confusing words. We have dicotyledonous plants as well as dicotyledonous seeds. Then in this lesson we are discussing what we call dicotyledonous plants. So what do you understand by the term dicotyledonous plant? So dicotyledonous plants are plants. So these are the plants whose seeds have two cotyledons. I beg my pardon. Dicotyledonous plants are plants whose seeds have two cotyledons. So examples, we have the beans. So what we are seeing here, they are the beans, and now these are the bean seeds. So these bean seeds have two cotyledons. So examples of these dicotyledonous plants apart from the bean plants, we have the bean plants. Apart from bean plants, we have the soya plants or the soya bean plants. Then we can also have the peas or the pea plant or the pea plants. We've said dicotyledonous plants are plants whose seeds do have two cotyledons. Examples, we have the bean plants, the soya bean plants, and the peas. So now let us look at the characteristics of the dicotyledonous plants. So here we are having diagrams that are showing us some of the characteristics of these plants or these dicot plants. One, their seeds have two cotyledons. So one, their seeds have two cotyledons. So as you can see with these bean seeds, so they have two cotyledons. Even when you look at this one, after germinating, we are seeing the cotyledons coming out. So we have this one and this, so their seeds have two cotyledons. Characteristic number two, their seeds, we don't say they undergo because plants don't germinate, but there are seeds that do that. So we say their seeds undergo. So their seeds undergo epigeal germination. So their seeds undergo epigeal germination. Remember we said germination means the process by which these seeds turn into a seedling, and a seedling is this young plant here. So this diagram here or this picture, it is showing us what we call the epigeal germination. So in simple terms, epigeal germination means the cotyledon comes out from the soil. So it comes out from the soil. So this is the epigeal germination, and these are the cotyledons coming out from the soil, and now this one is a seedling. Therefore this one becomes a dicotyledonous plant because the seed their seeds are having two cotyledons, and the germination, it is epigeal. Then characteristic number three, these plants now we are talking of seed plants now, not their seeds. So they have a network venation. So they have a network leaf venation. Then here we have another term, that is leaf venation. So leaf venation briefly means the arrangement of veins in a leaf. So when you look at this one is showing us the venation. So this one is a leaf. This leaf has veins. So these are the veins, the lines you are seeing there, they are the veins. But now these veins are arranged in the form of a net. So they are forming a network. So all dicot plants, they have leaf venation, as you are seeing. Then lastly, we are going to talk about their roots. So they have a tap root system. So this one is showing us a taproot system. So under the taproot system we have the main root, so this one which we are seeing, this one the main one. Then we have what we call the lateral roots, the side roots. Then these side roots have what we call root hairs. So this system is what we call a taproot system. Therefore, in summary, dicot plants have seeds with 2 cotyledons. They have seeds that undergo epigeal germination, I think you've seen it, and they also have a network leaf venation, and they have a taproot system. Then let us move on and look at what we call the monocotyledonous. So after we have looked at the characteristics of monocotyledonous plants, dicot plants, now let us look at monocotyledonous plants. So what are they? Monocot plants, these are plants whose seeds have 1 cotyledon. So these are plants whose seeds have 1 cotyledon. So examples, we have this first example. There is rice. This one is rice. So we have this one. This is wheat. It is a monocot plant. Then here is the maize. Then we have what we call oats. Then apart from the oats, the maize, the wheat, the rice, we also have other examples as, let me write here, as the barley, which we use to make beer. We have the barley. Then again we have sorghum. We have the sorghum. Then also we have what we call a millet. So a millet, sorghum, barley, all these ones plus the oats plus the maize, wheat and rice are examples of monocot plants. So the plants whose seeds are having 1 cotyledon. Then what you have to know more about these monocot plants. Their seeds produce grain. So their seeds produce grains, or they are grained plants. And then from there, let us look at their characteristics as we discussed the characteristics of the dicots. So we are going to start with this characteristic. So in this picture here, we are seeing the root system. So when you look at this root system, it is making fibers, thread-like roots. So meaning that all the monocot plants, they have a fibrous root system. So they have a fibrous, and this word is fibrous. So they have a fibrous root system. Then from there, we are going to look at this. So in this diagram, or in this picture, we are looking at leaf venation. Remember we said a leaf venation is the arrangement of veins in a leaf. So this one is the main vein or the midrib. Then when you look at these veins, they are running against each other. So they are forming what we call parallel movement. Therefore, monocot plants have a parallel leaf venation. So they have a parallel leaf venation. Then from there we are going to look at this. So this one is showing us what we call a germination. So this one is the cotyledon. Then it has germinated into a seedling. Therefore, the cotyledon has remained inside the soil. Then this type of germination is what we call hypogeal germination. So this is what we call hypogeal germination. This means that all monocot plants have seeds. So they have seeds, or their seeds undergo hypogeal germination. So once again, we are looking at characteristics of monocots. We've said 1, their seeds undergo hypogeal germination. That's where the cotyledon remains inside the soil, then they have parallel leaf venation, then they have a fibrous root system, and their seeds have one cotyledon. So now let us continue with our flowering plants. Remember we said these are plants that can put on flowers. So here we are now going to name a flowering plant. We are going to see the parts that make up a flowering plant. So these flowering plants, they are made up of two systems. So they are made up of two systems. One, there is what we call the root system, and another system is what we call the shoot system. Therefore, a flowering plant has two major systems, the root system and the shoot system. So the root system is found in the soil, that is underground, whereas the shoot system develops or grows above the ground. Then when you look at this flowering plant here, it's a flowering plant because it has now a flower. We can see this one. So we are having from here, from this upper part, then we come up to here. So all these parts here, they are forming what we call a shoot system. So all of them are forming a shoot system. Then from here, then all these ones we are finding inside the soil, they are forming what we call the root system. Then we are going to name the parts that are making up different systems. We are going to start with this one, which is brightly colored. So this one becomes a flower. So that one is called a flower. Then we are having this, and now this is the growing tip of this flowering plant, and this one is called the terminal bud. So it is called the terminal bud. So it's the growing tip of a flowering plant. And then from there we are having this part here. There is this part here. So this part is called a node. So a node is a part on a stem where a leaf attaches. So where this leaf is attaching the stem, that point of attachment is called a node. So that part, this part here is called a node. Then also this one is a node. We are having this one as a node, a node, a node, a node. Then we are having this node and this node. So the distance between this one node and this other node, so this distance between these two nodes is known as the internode. So it is the internode. So it is the distance between two nodes. Then from there we are having this one. This one is what we call a leaf. Then here, this one, it is the stem, our stem. Then we are having this bud here, and this bud is called the axillary bud. So it is called the axillary bud. Now this is the axillary bud. Then the angle between this axillary bud, or the angle between this leaf and the stem, so this angle between this leaf and the stem is what we call aniaxil. So it's called aniaxil. So it's called aniaxil. So the angle between a leaf and the stem is called an axil. Then from there we are having roots. So this one, it is the main root, which is also called the taproot. So that one is the main root. Then these other roots, they are at a side, so we are calling them the lateral roots. So those ones are called the lateral roots. Then these lateral roots, they are going to develop some small roots there, and those ones are what we call the root hairs. Then at the tip of this growing root, there is a coating or a covering, and this one is called, let me take it here. So this one is called the root cap. Therefore, those are the parts that are making up a flowering plant. We are having a flower. This one is the terminal bud. We are having a node, the terminal bud, sorry, a node, then the internode. We are having a leaf, then we have the axillary bud, then we have the axil, there is the stem, we have the main root or the tap root, lateral roots, and root hairs. So you've been a good learner. So this one makes the end of our lesson. I still urge you to just go down the video and write all the notes that are there and the answer and do the assignment given there. We meet in the next lesson.